Sean Myrie. Please subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff. Recent news. Recent news. The FBI, they are investigating, right? Probably once again, but right now, recently, for uh, Payola, right? They're accusing the radio stations of taking payola. I don't know how much radio stations, what radio stations, but this is the news that has came out in probably a good amount of hours that has passed. But the FBI, they're they want to investigate right now radio stations for taking payola, meaning anybody who has connections to get to the radio stations, right? They're looking at, because all of a sudden this is an issue. You've been realizing people talking about streaming for a while, saying that the streaming system is like a fraud, and how it doesn't benefit the artists. But now you're hearing about payola to radio stations, which is linked with corporations. So the FBI is putting out there, I don't know if this is fact, that there may be RICOs, like a RICO charge, going out to radio stations if they find out that they were accepting payola. So payola is when people are, like, offering finance for their project, right? So they're offering money to DJs, and maybe the reason why this is bad, because they're not reporting it. It's a secret thing. They keep it quiet. So, for example, if Funk Master Flex got money from somebody, right, but didn't say nothing, and that's the reason he played that record, that is payola. It's kind of funny recently. There's been some controversy in the radio, especially urban radio game. I didn't really follow the story too much, but I heard Funk Master Flex, he stepped down from his position, and domino effect, they fired DJ Enough, right? I think it's Hot 97. Correct me if I'm wrong. In New York, and they fired him right after, not too long after, Funk Master Flex announced, his leave or departure from the radio station or whatever. So I'm just talking that story because these guys work for the radio, but it's just funny after that situation how this is coming out, how the FBI is investigating, right? Radio stations for payola. So what radio stations? Is there a list of them? Is it every radio station? Is it every radio station? There's still more details we need to know. Who are they investigating? The FBI. This is some recent news, right? It's kind of funny because Drake was kind of talking about. I don't know if people realize. I think it was in the Bobby interview. He was saying something. He always has some type of cryptic shit, but I swear he was saying something in regards to people with, like, the streaming stuff. I would have to go and look back exactly what he meant, but he was talking about something about streaming, right? But now this payola stuff is coming out in the radio too. Sorry. Yeah. Now this is coming out in the radio. I mean, in the news. The radio is getting accused by the FBI of taking payola. Is that true? This has been issue for a long, long time. This is not new. The FBI been investigating the record music entertainment company a long time ago for payola, right? People were doing it. There were people doing it, paying people to get their music on, on the radio. So I don't know. The only difference is these people are keeping it secret. They're taking the money and they're not saying that they're taking any money. That's what the FBI is basically putting out there. Why are they investigating the record company? I mean, why aren't they investigating the record companies? Right? They- They're only gonna investigate the the radio stations. But maybe that's what they're getting at. If if they could find out if there is record labels that paid DJs and they don't know about, that's what they want to find out. That's what they want to find out. The FBI, they ain't joking. They're looking now at radio stations, right? So that shows you how big radio is. Must be, because I didn't hear about the FBI investigating the streaming. Especially, the streaming is stealing from artists for sure. You don't need no FBI for that. But you don't hear them talking about that. You're talking about the radio now. It's kind of funny because people been accusing or putting out there that the streaming system is not 100% accurate with what they're doing, and how people been buying whatever bots. So it looks like they have all this, all these views or numbers or, you know, supporters. So if people are paying for that, that's payola. Just another, it's just more digital. That's payola. So what's the definition of what they're putting out there? Because people could be paying for their streams. Yeah, people been doing that. Even if it's fake, they've been doing that, making themselves look big. So what is this going to do right now? You got Drake, for example, suing UMG over music business. And now this, with the FBI, whatever RICO, is against the music business. This is against the music business. They're going into even the communications, radio. They want to know. They're doing a cleansing. They want to know if anybody been taking payola, meaning they know people been making money undercoverly without really reporting it. People are getting, imagine a DJ getting like a couple thousand in his hand to play a record, a little bit more. That's payola. That's what payola is, man. Pay to play. A lot of DJs will never admit that. No, they will not admit that. Pay to play. Mm-mm. So payola in the music business been around a long time ago. Remember, they used to have radio tours. That was a big thing. So the artists always were traveling to different, what I guess, states, especially in America, different radio stations with the manager or whatever, and they would be getting interviewed, and then the music would be playing. And that's a long time ago. That you could say at least from the 50s they've been doing that. That's how artists really got known. They besides performing, they were doing radio type of tours where they would show up at the radio, talk a little bit, and then the record play. That's what was going on. Now it streams. Now it streams. Now it's even content, other content makers. could help an artist though with their numbers, like a Kai, right? Any platform, like even us. It's how people are like networking. But Payola, DJs, there's been probably a couple DJs, they've been getting Payola. A lot of them been getting Payola for years. We know that. Let's not try to think that it's so pure. All right? Of course, in every organization, there's corruption. And of course, there's people who work for stations who've been taking payola from a long time ago. They just know they were just smart enough to get away with it. But now the FBI is coming, right? They must have been doing some digging, some research, and they're confident because they're talking about RICOs too. A RICO. They're talking about handing out RICOs. Like this is a cartel type of shit. But they're going after the music business. So if you're a DJ and you took money from a record label, artists to play their record, and they know this is what they're doing, this RICO, they're serious, the government. So they're gonna put people who took money behind bars. It could have been years ago. When they're saying they're investigating and they will give they want to put out a RICO to who? It's interesting. So it's gonna affect people who had record labels, managers, A&Rs, all types of people, the whole business. If the FBI is investigating, right, DJs and radio stations taking money for people to play the record, man, that would be something big. If they uncover a good amount of people who has given money to the radio stations, and the radio stations took the money, man, it's gonna change the game. Trust me, it will. But people, please subscribe, like, follow, comment, all that good stuff. This is the episode Payola. Yeah, right now the FBI in America, they're investigating the music business, you could call it, radio stations or communications, radio stations, if they've been taking payola. So we shall see. Bless up, it's Sean Myrie, down to earth.